Hello, composters. Welcome to Soil Palooza. My name is Prema Walker. I am a site operation manager with Desert Compost here in Coachella Valley, California. In this video, I will be explaining to you about site management logbook. This site management logbook is nothing but a 1-inch 3-ring binder that can be donated or repurposed from different sources. I developed this logbook with my ongoing experience, mistakes I have made, and lessons I learned, training I took from United States Composting Council, and reading a lot from community scale composting systems by James McSweeney. So this logbook is nothing but some Google Docs that can be printed and punched holes and popped into this 1-inch 3-ring binder. So let's jump into it. This is called site summary. This is the page that goes into the front sleeve of this binder. So what happens in this page is basically after a month's worth of composting, you calculate all the numbers and enter them over here. For example, in the month of January, this particular site, let's give a site name. Let's call it CACC. So the site CACC composted like 1,200 pounds of food material, and they got wood chips delivered from a local arborist or any other source, which is around 4,000 pounds. And they composted 500 pounds of manure, and they have a total of 800 volunteer hours from that particular site for the whole month. You can write any other notes, such as mostly I use this section for this section for writing what is the other material, like whether it's manure or something else. So the other material is manure. By having this in the front of the binder, it makes really appealing for the people who are visiting the site or who are working at the site to see the progress they are making month after month. And I got really good feedback because the stakeholders who comes once in a while to the site to chat with the site operation manager, they would like to know how many pounds of material we composted so far. And all I have to do is like show them, hey, for this month, this is how much we composted, and these many hours are what is contributed by the volunteers. Next page, once you open the binder, you have every information that needed for the site. Name of the site, whether it's a community composting site or a farm or a school, what is it? Site operation manager along with their contact number and when did the site operation started and what is the exact location. This is nothing but all the information regarding the site. And in this next page is to-do list. So over here you can see the site name is CACC, and in this example I'm taking the first composting happened on October 1st, and the operator name is Prema, and the next composting date is October 7th. Over here, I will be writing whatever needs to be done the next week in priority wise. So maybe next week, whoever is coming, if this operator is not coming to the site, whoever is coming to the site and taking over the operation, they know exactly what are the priorities that needs to happen. So they need to build a pile that named as October. They need to turn the piles May and June, aerate the other piles or move mulch. So I would say, hey, if you're going to the site and you're looking at this to-do list, make sure you start from the top, depending on the number of volunteers. If there are not many volunteers and if it's only 2 or 3 people at the site, all they can do is build a new pile that's named as October. So having this to-do list makes it easier for everyone at this site. The next page is the volunteer log. So over here, I took the same example. We are composting on October 1st, and we have 2 staff members that are getting paid by the grant along with their names. And we have 5 trained volunteers with their names, and we trained 1 new volunteer at that site with their name. And it's 2 hours of work, so a total of 6 volunteers, and each contributed 2 hours. So we have 12 hours of volunteer work on that particular day. Having this number is really helpful to enter it into the site summary if you're not using Google Docs or anything to track the volunteer hours. So this is page number 3, and page number 4 is a temperature monitoring system. So to maintain the standards that are mandated by the state and federal agencies, our piles or the bins our composting material has to reach to a certain temperature, and it's really important to log them. So if somebody is asking, hey, can you show me this particular pile, what is the temperature range is like here, what you do. So you will do the same thing here. 1001 site operator operations happen, Prema. Pile name, let's say September is the pile name. Pile built date, it's throughout the month of September, or however you want to put the date as date to turn. For a windrow or a pile system, 1 cubic yard or 2 cubic yard pile system, we usually monitor 5 readings from different spots, and we don't let the piles to go more than 4 feet tall. So we take readings from the east, west, north, south side, and from the top without making the pile too compact. And here in the note section, the volunteer will write any kind of visual or the moisture content or any smell, or they observed any vectors. Especially here in the desert, the piles tend to get really dry, so we keep a good eye on this moisture content and visual vectors, because we have fire ants issue. So if the pile gets dry, all you can see is like mounds and mounds of fire ants. So making sure, keeping eye on those things and noting them down give us the running log for what's happening with a particular pile. This is for the windrows or pile system, but if you're doing something in the shape of cylindrical, which is like geobins, or using a hardware cloth to make a cylindrical shape, you take 4 readings, and same with the notes. And next page, number 5, is the material weight log. Let's say the composting operations happened on October 1st, and the operator is same Prema. Source of material is the kitchen or community, whichever it is, you just note it down. What kind of bin you are using here, whether it's a 17-gallon tote or a 2.5-gallon bucket or a 10-gallon source. You will be entering this information into the Google form, but at the same time, it's important to keep a backup, because if something happens and we lost data in the Excel sheet or from the Google Forms, this will be our backup to look for that data. So every week we just note down all the bin sizes and what is the weight from those bins. Next page is for the bulk material. Let's say you got delivery of mulch on 10/1. Material, wood chips or mulch. Source of material is local arborist. If you know the company name, you can write it. It's really good to have this information, because these source of material, these companies are our supporters in the community, and having them written down somewhere to make sure we appreciate them makes me feel good, and other people as well. So we do our calculations, and if it's 5,000 pounds of wood chips, we got it. And if there is any notes that needs to go there, we will write it down. The next page is the tool log. Well, we have a lot of tools that we use for operations, and making sure those tools have been taken care properly or maintained properly is one of the key thing. So once you got the tool list down, you just put in the serial number and note down what kind of a tool it is. So maybe we don't do this every week, but once a month we make sure all the tools get deep cleaned with scrubbed with soap and sprayed with hydrogen peroxide and dried well before putting them away, depending on the volunteer availability, of course. This is a really important step to maintain our tool life. And the next one, page 8, is my favorite. This is the QR code page because we will be using Google Forms to enter the data. Sometimes it's too much on the volunteers or people who are not tech savvy to find these links in their emails or phones or anything. So what you can do is like turn that particular Google form into a QR code, paste it here and print this out and just pop it on the back side of the binder so it's away from the elements. There is no compost going in there, so it's really clean all the time. The volunteers, all they have to do is like take their smartphone, open their camera and scan one of these QR codes and it will take them directly to that Google form. And just so you know, after this, so this is how the binder looks like. And instead of buying some page separators, we just used a different color paper. And to make tabs, whether it's a to-do list or the volunteer log or something, we just used a cereal box and cut it into tiny tabs like this and just staple them. At the end, you can have some, after all the tool log pages, you can have the volunteer waiver forms as well. Many people like to have paper volunteer form to sign, so we will keep couple of copies or up to 5 or 6 copies of the desert compost volunteer logs, volunteer forms along with the site volunteer waiver forms. So this is all about the site management logbook, and thank you so much for watching this video.